All right, this video is going to review a couple of the ways to test and check how big your print job is going to be, like what size paper you're going to need and how to change those paper size. In class, after about half of you left, we discovered that we're going to need a bigger sheet for this project one for our kitchen and large plans. So I'm going to use this as an example, but this is something you need to know throughout your career because you may set your project properties to one size like 18 by 24 or 24 by 36. But then as the project progresses, you may need to make smaller prints for different people in the trades. Like if they only have an 11 by 17 printer at their office, you're going to customize things in your sheet sets over here for the different people who need it. So you're going to need to know how to kind of do this for various options. So here we are in my enlarged floor plan view. I'm on the view right now just to kind of double check how this drawing is going to fit on the page. So to do that, I'm just going to type in the word plot, and then we should get the print kind of window open up. You can also do it from the buttons up here. Now, right here, I have Adobe PDF. If you don't have that installed, you can also do DWG to PDF, which is farther down here. I may have a lot more options for you because I'm just hooked into their drivers here. So I'm going to pick Adobe PDF. I'm going to start with the assumption that maybe I can fit this on 11 by 17. So that's Arch B. You see it comes up here. It's going to say actually 12 by 18, but it's tabloid size there. Instead of display, I'm going to pick window. And then I'm going to basically select the window like this. And also go back and pick center and pick preview. And this is going to just give me a preview of how it's going to fit on 11 by 17 paper. And I did this with a couple of folks, and depending on, so this guy, you can kind of sort of get it on 11 by 17. There was a couple people that because of their dimensions or their layouts didn't. So if you can keep it on 11 by 17, great. You might have to move this up. So I'm going to show you kind of that setup first. So let's go over here to sheets. And I believe with this project, we already set it up for 11 by 17. So actually, I'm going to cancel out of the printing here. I'm going to go to Sheets, the Sheets tab right here. I'm going to second button in, add a sheet. So we're going to use the, so I'm going to call this 1. This is going to be my last name, Conway Enlarged Kitchen Plan. Now, right now, if you look here, it's setting it up for 11 by 17 paper. So we'll see how that fits on there. So we'll say okay to that. And it's going to just take a minute, so I'm going to pause. All right, so this is reviewing some of what we did in class, but on both of the class Moodles, there's going to be this title for CAD title block templates. So we're going to click on that, and you're going to download the 11 by 17 or the 18 by 24, depending on how things are fitting. So in my case, oops, my kind of name's got a little smaller. Here it is. I'm going to download the 11 by 17. I already have the larger ones downloaded. So it's coming down there. We'll download it, and all right, so back here on your sheet, let me bring these up. I have a couple things up here. Here's your enlarged kitchen sheet here, this one in the middle where I have one Conway enlarged. This is the default template CAD gives you for 11 by 17 size paper. It's not terrible, but it takes up a good chunk of kind of space on your paper. So we tend to not use these in CAD. When we get to Revit, we will use their default ones, but here in CAD, we have in our department kind of a smaller one we've been using. So this is the one here, the template tabloid that I've downloaded. So here it is here. I'll go over filling it in kind of at the end of this because a lot of us did this in class. So I just collected the whole thing, did Control C. I'm going back over to this sheet. Now, instead of doing Control V, I'm going to do clipboard. So I right clicked and pick clipboard and then paste to original coordinates. And generally in class, it fit exactly where we wanted to. This one, of course, is a little bit off. So we're going to select everything and move it down just a little bit because these dotted lines are your printer margin. This is where a typical printer cannot print beyond basically 1/2 inch. All right, so here's kind of the default setup for our sheet. Now to get our view on our sheet, we click on our view tab. We go over to here to enlarge kitchen plan. I'm going to just close it just so it sort of hard saves all its changes. It's going to come up and be like, are you sure? Yes. Okay. And you're going to find that there's a lot of quirks going back and forth between editing your view and the sheet. And a lot of times you have to close and open things to get them to kind of refresh. All right, so we're here on view. We're going to drag this guy over the enlarged kitchen plan and see if it fits on this here. Oh, it's way over here for some reason. You might also have some weird stuff going on where it's floating all over in space. So for some reason, mine is cropped way out here. So I'm going to kind of pause and crop that in quick. And to do that, you just click on the box and you basically just drag the handles in. So here's mine here. And yeah, mine is looking too big for this paper. So let's see, bring it over here. And this is what kind of happened is I was working with somebody kind of after class and we discover this. And that's why y'all got the email of, oops, we're going to need bigger paper. All right. So if you had already set up your 11 by 17 paper, the easiest thing to do now is you're going to move this guy out of the way. You're going to delete this template out because we don't want that one anymore. And now you're going to type in page setup down below, all one word, page setup. It brings up another window that gives you options now to change this paper size independently in your project. So this is where if you need to change it, specific sheets in your whole project. So this is not changing all the paper in your project. So in my case, I'm going to say I want Arch C now, 18 by 24. So you have to say set current and then see how the paper just kind of jumped and got bigger. We say close. And now this one should fit, your plan should fit just fine on here. So I'll pull that over. And there it is there. And we'll bring up the other kind of template. Let me pause and bring that up. Okay, when you open some of these up, you might get messages that they are made with an older version of CAD or they have another kind of reference linking to them. Just say ignore and just have it open that way. So here's the 18 by 24 template up here. So I've collected all of it, Control C. I'm now going back to this page here, my enlarged kitchen plan, number 1. I'm going to right click, clipboard, paste original coordinates. Hope it fits where it's supposed to. Actually, this one worked out pretty nicely. Yeah, I'm not going to move that one around. So this is the sheet that then you're going to print out the actual paper sizes, 18 by 24. When we make a new one, this should also give you more space to fit, like you should be able to get 2 of your elevations on here. If you have 3, you might have to go into a 3rd page, but this will give you enough paper size that you probably should only have 2 sheets that you're printing out for what's required for this project. Now, if you've gone ahead and done this, but now you want to just save the whole, change the whole set to 18 by 24, or if you haven't done this step and in a good way, now we're just going to change the whole set to 18 by 24. The way we would do that is we'd be here on sheets and you go into, actually, no, I'm sorry. You're going to be up here on the top project bar here where it says project. You're going to hover over to where you see this first one, project browser. So if you go project tab, project browser, you're going to click there. And this is kind of where we get back to controlling the template that's used behind the scenes. So we're going to left click on the name of your project. It should be bolded because you should be in your kitchen project here over in Project Navigator. You're going to right click and you're going to say project properties. And this is what we did at the beginning of our project when we set it to 11 by 17. So see here, it's still set to 11 by 17. So we're going to change that now. And we're going to say 18 by 24. So now any new sheets we set up will be 18 by 24. So you can do this at the very beginning if you haven't yet set up a sheet set, or you can change everybody now. So we're going to say apply changes to all because again, we're only doing these 2 sheets in this project. We don't have to worry about customizing different ones. All right, so I'm going to close that for now. So now when we open up a new sheet for elevations, if we click on sheet over here, and there it goes. Okay, and it's the second button in again. So we're going to click that to add a sheet. This will be number 2. This will be kitchen, have your last name, sorry, my kitchen elevations. Say okay. Now here it's already setting up the sheet template's going to be that 18 by 24. Say okay to that. And then you're going to see that sheet pop up on the right under sheets in your project navigator. So I'm double clicking to open it. My clipboards should still have the template here, the one that we like. So you can see for this one particularly, it does take up a lot of space. So we're gonna definitely delete this existing one out. So we're gonna, oops, it's kind of pausing there. All right, here we go. We're gonna left click on the top right, left click on the bottom left, delete all that out. And now I'm gonna do right click, clipboard, paste to original coordinates, and there it goes and sits right in. If it's not in your clipboard and you've been doing other things, again, just go back to the template, copy it, and then paste it into here. Now, I think I answered this in class for a lot of your questions about your elevations. What I usually do is I just drag one over, and depending on how you kind of have them laid out, if you have them laid out in a line or kind of randomly around, it's okay. There's lots of ways to fuss with this. So CAD is actually pretty intelligent and sort of cropped the first one here. So there's the first one. And let's let it get situated there. Okay, I don't have a whole lot drawn on mine just yet. So don't freak out if it looks like wiggly arms, hands. When it comes in, it looks a little strange too. All right, so I just wanted to show you, I'm actually on my views on my elevation. So you can see mine are kind of like all over the place. That's okay. It's, again, best practice if you can copy and paste them and line them all up. It'll make this process of placing them easier. But over here back on my sheet, there's one. So again, CAD made a pretty good effort of trying to give me the first one there. So I can do a couple things. I can either drag this back in and then find where the second one is, or I can also copy this viewpoint. So I went up here to the copy tab and I hit copy. I usually do this stuff over here on the right. And then if I click on this, the border of it, I can kind of open it up and find where my next one is. So my next one is over here. This is where I didn't take the time to do this with this class project, but my own projects, I do take the time to line them all up left to right, just so it makes it an easier job to kind of place everybody. So this one can come over here. And depending on how small your other one is, you might be able to get the third one over here. So I do have a shorter wall. Like a lot of you had that third wall by the dining room. So if I open that up, I think that one is somewhere over here on the left. Or not. Let's see. We're going hunting for it. I guess maybe I didn't do it yet. All right. Thought there was a third one in here. You can even open this way far up to see what else is in here. Up there it is. It's way down there. Because there's that dining room opening door. Okay. And yeah, it looks like we can probably get all three of these in one 18 by 24 sheet. So if I move this guy over, depending on how many dimensions and stuff you have. Now, again, best practice is to try to line these up. So often I make sure I go up to def point, and there it is there. And so this is the ground here. So I'm going to have snap on, and I'm going to pull the ground over to make sure it's on ortho, pull it way over here so I can delete it more easily later. And then I'm going to try to get this one right here to line up really nice with the ground. I tend to get really fussy with where I put my name tags too. So that's controlled. Say, hold on, let's delete that. That's controlled back in the elevation view. So what you would do is you would line everybody up here left to right. And again, I would have like use this as a reference point and kind of, let's see, oops, hold on, that's not def point. Let's get rid of that quick. We'll go over to def points. And so when I line these up before I put them on the sheet, this is kind of how I clean everybody up. I give a reference point of say here, or you can get right on this line. And then I'm going to move this one over here. So this is going to change over on my sheet. So I would say do this kind of cleaning and fussing before you put it on your sheet. And that one's all nicely lined up there too. So, and this third one down here, I would do the same thing. I would extend this out a bit and bring it over. I'll pause while I do that. All right, I left these two here just so you could see what happened. So in my original view, I moved all my drawings around. So these two boxes are no longer relevant or helpful on this sheet. But the way it's laid out now is if I open up this box, you can see that the second one is going to be sitting right next to it. So you can tell that these two aren't going to fit. That's okay. So in this case, I'm going to go like that, crop it. I'm going to copy this one. And then I can also paste it directly down underneath it so it's nice and lined up. And what I'm going to do is now open up this block to the right because everybody's lined up there. Then crop the one that's above it. So that goes to about here. And then move these over. And then these two are already nicely aligned and kind of camped out together. And if, again, this is where I start playing with it. So to get these two to fit on this page, this box right here is invisible. It's not going to print. So I can bring it right up to there. I can crop this over to here. I can also go back into my drawing and move these two closer to each other if I don't have a lot of dimensions there. I can also fuss and get this a little bit closer too, depending on where my dimensions are. But this just makes it a lot easier to lay it out in the final sheet if you clean things up first in your elevations over here. So I think I caught most of you. Again, it's not a have to, but definitely if you're drawing left, like to the left and then upside down, you do have to rotate everybody around because here on the sheet, the rotating thing messes up all your words and things like that. So it's not, it's an okay way to draw it initially, but then when you start to put in dimensions and annotations, you need everything going like horizontal and in front of you, basically. All right, so this is how you would change your paper size, and definitely for this project with this new kind of larger floor plan we're using this year, you're going to need to have it on the 18 by 24 paper size. And this is also the same paper size we're using for our first project in Tech 1. For our final project, we're definitely going bigger. It'll be 24 by 36. So again, double check, mine's not coming up here, but make sure that this drawing here, down here, is at a 1/2 inch. And for your elevations, if you click on this, it should be at a 1/2 inch. Check that. Also for this enlarged plan, we talked about in the notes from homework, clicking on this, putting instead of medium detail, putting it on presentation. And then you'll see kind of that nicely come up there. It is doing a few weird things with the cut line. So you might have to redo the cut line. And I apologize for that, but like I said, we do want to have this presentation on our drawings because it's more correct in terms of showing that that's a solid wall, and it's just more easily visually read too. All right, so that's all we have to do today for changing our paper size. And then in class, I will be walking you through printing to PDF so that you will have PDFs to then submit for grading and also then to submit to being printed at either the Tech Center or at Staples. All right, thank you. Bye.